How you doing? Today's another day, and today our topic is going to be disasters. And I hope everybody's doing well. It would appear that we have an issue that is going really bad for Puerto Rico and a lot of the islands out there. Right now, Puerto Rico's the one that's making the most noise, and we need the most help and things. But you got to remember, in the Virgin Islands right now, nobody's saying anything. So the whole issue is, the reason why they're focusing in on Puerto Rico is because it's part of the United States and it's a territory and such like that. But the big issue is the fact that now you're beginning to get that stink again about how these people, and I'm going to continue to point towards what they want as compared to what you want. And we know who they are as, those people that have the money, okay, those people that are in control of all of the things that are going on. I don't know, later on I may be mixing this up about who is the most powerful as compared to the most ignorant. Because in a sense, you have the same culture of people that are the most powerful and the most ignorant. So you got to kind of look at it to a certain extent. But these disasters, as I've said earlier in a couple of the other issues, and all of this really has to do with the fact of sanity. You see, because in my position in life, people judge you about what you say and what you do. But the issue here is sanity. The issue is, why are you repeating the same thing over and over and over again and expecting to get these great miraculous, outcomes when you didn't really address the people that were making those particular demands? And I'm saying that simply because of the fact that, I listen and I hear, and the issue is I hear more of what the conspiracies are. Simply because I play a better game of concentration than most people. My particular issue when it comes to understanding and communicating is, I heard what you said, and I understand that. And of course you have that opinion. But the whole issue is your outlook or your, I don't know, I'd have to say opinion. Is that going to help you, me, or us as Americans? You see, this is the concept that's lost. So in a sense, we're not only going to talk about these brief minutes about the disasters that are going to happen naturally. I'm going to tell you about some disasters that are happening simply because people want what they want. And one of the biggest disasters right now is the fact that we have this weather. Now, the other day, Half Dome. You guys don't live there, but I've lived there all my life. I'm telling you right now, when that thing starts to cracking, that means the earth is moving. You understand? You have a whole structure coming out of the ground that's made out of granite. See, now this granite, it don't move. It don't want to move. Granite is granite simply because that's why you pay more money, is because it's granite. It don't move. And when it starts moving, that means that something underneath is moving. So the disaster is, oh wow, hey, what, but the problem is, you need to get out of Yosemite. Yeah. See, because when that rock, the last time, and I'm going to tell you, it's been a long time, but the last time that rock happened, I'd say Northridge was the next thing that popped off. Why? Because I remember the fact that, okay, I'm watching the news. Wait a minute, Half Dome, weren't we up at Tuolumne Meadows camping and doing some other things and climbing the rocks with these other guys? Blah, 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 blah. Okay, now I hear it and I'm like, okay, bam, bam, Northridge. Okay, I'm thrown out of bed. I'm looking at the street, the poles and lights and, okay. So when it talks to disasters, and when it comes to the Master's words, these signs are all around you. And now you'll hear a lot of the ministers are talking about end times. Ladies and gentlemen, this is just starting. Okay? You remember I talked to this thing about, I said something earlier this year about that Hagee and those blood moons. These are all signs, people. And when that man said the last time, and I'm telling you, it hit me like a rock, it was like, bam! Okay. okay, after this particular, what was it, the eclipse, it said 7 years from now. Wait a minute. You mean exactly 7 years from now, there'll be another eclipse? Yeah, so okay, now we got the moons that have all come at pretty much in the same, what, couldn't have been, I don't know. They claimed there was a couple of them back then, but all of these were within, I don't know if it was since I've been alive. It may be. No. So, anyway, the issue is, that's not my issue. I heard about it, but it's a sign. And it shows that in this time, we are just beginning. Because remember, even the big issue of 2012 or whatever that was, when all those people that had disappeared or something had made their predictions and blah, blah, blah. And now you're starting to hear predictions all the time. Blah, 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 blah. See, because in a sense, these disasters, and let me give you my first thought on this. If you will listen closely, you will hear the clergy around the world talking about the end times. What they're not saying is we are entering the end as we know it. See, because right now, everything that we know is about to change. And you can tell simply because the technology is changing, the people are changing, the whole system is changing. Now, and look at, everybody's afraid. But see, for me, I am so happy. I can't believe how happy I am. I'm like, oh my God, thank you for letting me live this long. And guess what? The problem that most people don't understand is along with these disasters, talking. And again, I'm going to have to look at this as another issue because right now we're about to be flooded. It will almost come to a flood issue. Because if anybody understands anything, it's just like I said, the minute this thing stops droughting and all of this rain comes in, everything starts sliding. Because you got to remember, and especially in our fault line here in California, that thing dried up so bad. I mean, it was bad. People just don't realize that out in the Mojave, man, cracks. Out in the middle, the Salton Sea was gone. Well, I don't know. You could say it's still there, but it's gone as far as I'm concerned. I know what the Salton Sea looked like. I know what that looked like simply because when I was a Cub Scout, we used to take these trips out to the desert. We used to go out here and look at the sorrels and all of the various cacti, and we'd camp out there, and we'd be out there doing these things and looking at the lizards and picking up and all, doing all this stuff. And I'm going to tell you something right now. The most miraculous things have happened. This past July, I went to the reunion in Texas. Texas was green. I couldn't believe it. I said, what? What? And this is July? I said, where am I? This has got to be another planet. Texas, green, in July? And I mean, there was water, there was rain. Actually, one of the trains had got washed out. Right? I say change because it's not what we're used to. So, and again, I come to this issue because now we're talking about sanity. Because now I'm about to induct a lot of other issues that are going into place. Now here's the other issue that we got to look at. These events have been prophesied forever, and now that time has begun. And your life, my life, and everyone else, we can't do nothing about this. But be prepared. You, me, everybody. We see it coming. But the problem is the majority of you, I would have to say 90% of you are not going to be prepared. So as I speak to you and I communicate to you, I try to bring to you the understanding that I have. And when I say prepare, I mean you better start learning how to live with dirt. Talk to the people of Florida. Talk to those people in Puerto Rico. They're going to used to living in dirt. And if they're not careful, there will be an outbreak. It'll be just the beginning. Because when these disasters, and watch what I'm saying, I'm hoping everybody realizes this. See, Puerto Rico was already in bankruptcy. Now, if you look at this correctly, and I'm going to tell you right now, the Republican Party, I'm going to point them out. The Republican Party is going to say, wait a minute. If we do this, we might as well pay their debt. And this is where it goes all bad, because I'm starting to stand up now and say, wait a minute. Puerto Ricans don't hire us either. Mexicans don't. Neither do the Asians. So they shouldn't have my tax dollars. I'm not being represented by them. So, now that we come to this, and I need you all to pay attention to this other thing. This is what the real disaster may be. And if possible, if you can fathom this, and I pray that you do, if you look at the actions all around you, and let's take even your coworkers, let's break it down to the very simplest, because next it's going to be your family members. Guaranteed. Because this is the breakup time. You see, when this planet begins to do what it's doing right now, it's a sign. It's a fact that we need to look at our own behavior instead of what's going on in a more global scale. Right? Because the rest of these people around the country and around this world, they've crucified themselves to a certain extent because they've cursed themselves. They've done these things simply because, listen, right now, it's a refugee problem in every single country that let every single refugee in. Now there's going to be a fight. And here's the next tip. And again, I'm only saying this simply because it's in the news now. And I'm only going to do this again because, why? Because, you know, let me tell this quick story right here. Let me tell this quick story. Some time ago, you know, I have a tendency to work because I'm a journeyman carpenter. I go to other job sites and I stay there. In this particular instance, I was in one of my trailers. So what happened was, I'm on the job site. I don't go back to Fresno, where I was born and stuff. You know, I don't go back simply because I don't want to. I don't want to spend the money. I don't want to go over there. It's probably a hassle. Probably something will happen. Blah 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 blah. So I stay where I'm at, Malibu Canyon. You know, I really don't care. But the issue is I come back and I have some more time, so I get more work. You know, back in Fresno at the time, I think it was, I was delivering something for U.S. Cold Storage. I don't know what it was. But in the meantime, what happens is I go in and I find out I joined the chamber because I started my other business on a couple other things. So what I did was join the chamber and found out that this guy was lying. He was taking money from the cable company, Comcast, and he wasn't passing that money back to the community. Now, to me, that's wrong. And in my religion dictates that I have to say something. Why? Because it always says that if the way evil consistently moves is when good people say nothing. I'm a good person. Always have been, always will be. And even though I am a sinner and I do these bad things sometimes, well, less now than I ever in life. I don't even think I do bad things anymore except for curse and whatever else is bad. But I pray to get out of that. I'm just saying, because I'm not perfect, not trying to be. But the issue is, I called this guy a liar. To everybody's face. Why? Because it was the truth. The problem that we have now is no one is not confronting anybody. You're all cowards. You're afraid. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, thank you very much. This is the weakest country in the world now. And the bad part about it is, and this is my other issue, the disaster is we now have a group of people that really want to be nice to everybody. And guess what? We're going to get killed. I'm only saying that simply because the more people you let in here, the more people that will be disguised. And it only takes, like I said before, it's only going to take 1, 2, 3, maybe 10 people. Could cover and massively destroy this whole country. Why? Because you people just sit around and go, okay, it's okay, we're going to change our lives, we're just going to keep doing the same thing. Okay, that's fine. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep giving your money to evil. That's what you do. That's what's happening. And again, it sounds bad, but I live here, I pay taxes just like anybody else. But you can go and do what you want to. My argument and my judgment is that I do what I do. If you don't like my judgment, you need to step back and mind your own business. Why? Because I don't have to answer for you, remember? And like I said before, we're living in a time now where you're more deceived than most drug addicts. Here's why. Newsworthy, Washington Post, GOP insurgency plans for a civil war in 2018. Midterms. That's what they call them. But see, this is the word again. Now, I've said it 100 times. Civil war. It's right there on the piece when the video comes on. Since day one. Now, listen to me, people. I've been trying to help here. But right now, I'm going to have to do a little get down, and you need to get up out of this. Because regardless of if you see this or not, it's now out. I notice that when I've spoken, that my intelligence is being threatened. Why? Simply because if I go ahead and I say, well, wait a minute, I don't like what's going on. No, someone else is going to say, no, you're crazy. You're on this, you're on that. But I'm talking about things that affect me, number one. Number two, my family. Number three, you. And the rest of this community. Because if I'm not an American, you're not an American. You got it? I'm dictating what America is now. If you don't like it, get out. You understand? If you can't understand this English, I got a foot, I got 2 feet, and they're long. So hear and think, the disaster is now, I'm coming for you. Why? Because you're not listening. The feedback I get is, yeah, hey, great. Come look at my site. I can help you. Come spend money with me. But has anybody offered? No. So now it's September, and we've gone on 30-something, 8, 39, maybe 40 of these now. And guess what? I knew it was going to happen because I said so from the very beginning. Remember? Don't watch. Don't look. Whatever you do. Now the fat meat is real greasy. So, but here, this isn't the only thing. And this is the news from the Washington Post, I said. Civil war. Don't forget I said it, because I hate it. I really do hate it when I'm right all the time. Oh my God. What's going on? Okay, so here's the other issue. Let's break this down. And I did say this before, but see, because nobody's going to listen, I'm just going to let this fester a little while. So, here's the issue, okay? Okay, I'd like to say that by 2020, the majority of the coastal towns will be rubble. I said 2020 now. That was the number that I believe was really intended for the 2012. Seriously. I only say that simply because it keeps registering in my mind. It keeps coming to me over and over and over again that it was 2020, not 2012. I don't know who's saying it, why it's saying it, why it's doing it. I don't really care. Okay? I know I'm going to be ready. I don't know what you're going to do. I know how to swim. You understand? And you know what I'm thinking? Here's a tip. I saw this thing one time in, I think it was in that last London Down thing. They had this little thing that was inside the helicopter where they pulled this string and this big bubble. It kind of went around you. And then when you hit the ground, you could bounce. See, now I'm thinking, this is a good thing. Because when the earthquake or anything else, and you can get something like that paper that you can't get through, right? Sew it together and have some what you call like self-preserved bubbles. Get like backpacks, put them on your back. Somebody needs to make this. I'm giving you the get down right now because if everybody buys one of these, your disaster will be less impactful. Think about it. This thing goes over your back, bam, you poof it. Wow, you know, whether it's, I don't care if it's, now this would probably even be perfect. They may even have this done, I don't know. This may even be perfect for people that are in mudslides, avalanches, or tsunamis. Because automatically, the bubble, especially for the tsunami, would say at the top. Think about it. I'm not going to make it. Why? Because it's an idea. It's what I was blessed with. I'm passing that on. Somebody do that. Here. The issue that we're looking at now, The earthquakes are becoming more frequent. We know this now simply because of the fact that in Mexico, rubble. I said disaster when I mean disaster. Mexico's not going to come back from this. Why? Because there's going to be another earthquake. Now, there's a couple volcanoes getting ready to pop, but the big issue, Mount Vesuvius. Pay attention to Italy, because Italy is our other reaction, because once Italy hits, we're done. California, it's over. So here, everybody be ready. Everybody be prepared. Because I'm telling you, here's the deal. Here's the other one. The issue that we're going to be facing in this issue. Now here we go. I even wrote this down. More water, more slides. And I said, check Yosemite. Jeez, man, I must have did this card a long time ago. All granite. Oh, wow, dude, I wrote this down like 2 months ago. Crazy. I can't stand it. Okay, but here's the deal. Okay, here I'm going to try to bring this down to you. Okay. You're going to have to look closely at where you are as compared to where you can get to an open area. Because you got to remember, in this particular next group of, they are disasters. Let's just stay on focus. But these next groups of disasters are going to be a lot of weather-related issues, because now we're turning up on winter, and already it's starting to snow. This is a problem, people, because if it starts snowing now, that means it's going to snow all winter. And if it keeps snowing all winter until like it did last year or this year when it snowed in April and May in California, the ski resorts were still open. If that happens this year, people, find the open areas. Because I'm going to tell you right now, the granite, it will expand again. Okay? And then next summer, pop! And I mean, you've seen the videos. I saw a video one time, I think it was somewhere up by Shaver Lake. All of a sudden the rocks just started going pop, 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 pop. Why? Because they had dried out and there was a shift. And they just start popping. And I mean granite shards. Bam, 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 everywhere. So, listen to me, people. I'm trying to be intelligent about this. Because I'm about to go through an issue that will deal with competency and what I know as compared to what you know. Now, I look at this as an issue of a release. I'm releasing of pin-up issues that I don't have to write down anymore. I get tired of writing these notes and things, and then things don't work out at the time that I want them to work out. But what I've done through these particular videos is to not only show a competency of my own, but also of an understanding to communicate with other people and everybody. But it's not the case. So, we're going to keep this at a level of you understand, but you really don't understand. So if you look at this in a level of saying, well, how are we going to gauge this person? Which is me. I gauge myself by listening to the music. Listen to my attitude. Am I crazy? Does my language present some sort of threat? Think about this. Because now these particular videos are going to be coming involved with my competency. Simply because I'm on the attack. I'm on the attack simply because of the fact that not only can I be on the attack because I'm an American citizen, but because I feel the need within my own religious context. It's my religious context. I'm a disciple. I'm like I said before, those Christians, too weak for my, too weak for my venue. So, everybody be happy. Everybody stay focused. Everybody begin to communicate. And please, everybody, try not to think that you know what's going on. I don't. All I know is what I'm told. Okay? And when I'm told something, I do it. I was used to that when I had parents. If you're not, I don't have to answer for you. But thank you. I hope everybody's having a good time. I think we're going into October now. Fiscal year is starting. The government is going to start acting up again. There's going to be big issues going on. So I want everybody to understand. I love you. I care. I can't do nothing for you, man. I ain't got no money. I got nothing. All I got is what God gave me, and I'm going to use it for me. If you need it, you need to talk to me. You can. Just like your comments. Your little weak little, oh, come look at me. I ain't trying to do that. I like everybody. But, you know something? I have to survive, and I know you do too. So I'm doing this. Let's do this. God bless. See y'all later.